So back in 2013, I started this blog called Grace Notes. And I posted pretty regularly for about a year or so. And then my family and I moved. And we changed provinces and we changed churches. And I think just life being what it was at the time, especially with a number of things going on, the blog kind of got left to the wayside. And I hadn't posted anything on there for years. And then back in 2020, when I left Facebook for various reasons, I returned to the blog as a way of just posting thoughts and reflections and that sort of thing. And the blog has this tagline, Reflections on Faith and Life, which is what I want it to be about. What does it mean to live the Christian life as an ordinary person? You know, I remember years ago when our kids were a lot younger and our home was a lot messier because we had kids' toys were scattered everywhere. I remember when we had a new puppy at the time, and of course we're trying to train the puppy, and it just felt like there was always mess of one kind or another. And it felt very stressful. And around the time we were going through those things, there were some prominent Christian writers and leaders and speakers, particularly out of the States, out of the evangelical church in the States, who were talking about becoming radical disciples of Jesus, radical Christians. And I really appreciated a lot of what they said, don't get me wrong. But sometimes when you're knee-deep in laundry and changing diapers and piles of dishes and so on and so forth, and being a full-time pastor, it can feel like, because when you think of radical, of being sold out for Jesus or on fire for the Lord, these various kinds of expressions that we use to talk about people who are really committed to Jesus, it kind of leaves out people who are home, whether it's men or women, husbands or wives, and they got a lot of things to do, a lot of things on the go, and they just feel like they're kind of keeping their head above water, or maybe just life is just ordinary. And when I think about what it means to be a follower of Jesus, part of what it means for me is, what does it mean to follow Jesus, to be committed to him right in the midst of ordinary life? Because most of life, let's be honest, most of life is kind of ordinary and mundane. Most of life is repetitive. Guess what? You did dishes a couple days ago, you're going to have more dishes to do again. And the same thing goes with laundry. I don't know how many times we end up having clean laundry in baskets ready to be put away. It's a strange thing. We don't always struggle to get laundry into the washer. We don't usually struggle to get the clothes from the washer to the dryer. But then when we get clothes into the baskets and bring upstairs to fold and put away, there seems to be a obstacle there somehow to accomplishing that last part of the laundry responsibilities. Anyway, so my point is, the Christian life has to be lived right in the midst of all this stuff. And whatever stage of life you're at, following Jesus means committing yourself to him, loving him, obeying him right where you are. One of the core beliefs we have as Christians, and we're getting close to Christmas, so it's a good time to mention it, is the doctrine of the incarnation. And this is the view, of course, that Jesus Christ is the incarnation of the second person of the Trinity, the Son of God. And it's a beautiful, beautiful truth, and I believe it with all of my heart and with all my mind. But one of the things we learn from the doctrine of the incarnation is that our physical lives matter. God cares enough about who we are as flesh and blood human beings to actually become one of us. And so the incarnation, in a sense, is an affirmation of bodily life, of material existence, even of everyday life. And sometimes being an ordinary Christian means, how do I live in faithfulness to God when I'm overwhelmed by parenting, overwhelmed by housework, overwhelmed by whatever stresses or strains I'm experiencing at this point in my life? We don't all have the option, say, of selling everything and going to another country in a different part of the world to serve the Lord. But we can serve the Lord right where we are, right in the midst of our family lives, our homes, our neighbors and workplaces, our schools, just by the way our character is growing after the character of Jesus, just by the way we seek to obey him through our lives of prayer and come alongside others in acts of love and kindness. There's so many things that we can do as ordinary Christians. But I say all this because, if I'm going to post videos, as imperfect as they might be, the goal would be to help people in everyday life see how they can follow Jesus, to know how they can serve him right where they are, that they don't have to have either a geographical transplant, nor do they have to have a personality transplant. They can be who they are as God has created them in order to serve and to love the Lord in the lives they live. So, I'm hoping to post videos to that effect over time. I would love to say that I'm going to post a video on my blog once a week. However, we all know how that happens in life. This is not my full-time gig to make videos and to do a video podcast or anything like that. So I'm not likely to be able to do it that way, but we'll see. And I hope that you enjoy and or benefit from some of the things I'm able to share with you. So in the meantime, thanks for coming to Grace Notes. Share it with your friends, and I hope to have more videos coming up very soon. God bless.